When you choose a partner, you are not really choosing a person. You are choosing which one of the many people living inside you gets to wake up and which ones stay asleep for as long as that relationship lasts. Most people walk into a new relationship asking exactly one question: does this person make me feel good? That question skips over a vital layer of the mechanism underneath it. The real question is which version of you this person calls into existence. Your courage, or your fear, your potential, or your smallest self. That mechanism, the one deciding which you shows up, is what we are going to map out here. Love, as most people understand it, is something that spreads. The more of it you give, the wider it reaches. And yet the mechanism underneath every genuine connection works in exactly the opposite direction. It narrows. It focuses down to a specific person, a specific configuration of qualities and presence, in a way that has nothing casual about it. That specificity is not a limitation of love. It is what gives it the force to activate something. You already know a piece of this, even if you have never put words to it. Think of the people in your life right now. Around one of them you are quick, funny, a little reckless in the best way. Around another you go quiet, careful, smaller somehow, even when nothing is actually wrong. Most people file this away as chemistry or compatibility, a soft, forgettable word that explains nothing. It works the same way with friends, family, even coworkers. And in none of those cases does it carry more weight than in the person you choose to build a life with. It is not chemistry. It is closer to mechanics. Every person you let close to you activates a specific configuration of who you are and quietly deactivates others. A partner is never a neutral presence standing next to your life. A partner is closer to an environment. And like any environment, some things grow in it, and some things don't. Every identity begins as a packet of seeds, not as a single flower. Consciousness, beneath the one personality you call yourself, holds far more potential than any single life ever uses. You are not one fixed thing waiting to be discovered. You are a field of possibilities. And the personality walking around in your body right now is only the one combination of seeds that found the right conditions to grow, which is a bigger claim than it first appears. It means the patient version of you, the reckless version, the version who paints, the version who never speaks up in a room, all exist as real potential within the same identity. Most of them stay exactly that, potential. A few get watered into something real. What decides which ones grow is not random. It is the soil. Picture two seed packets, identical, planted in two different gardens. One gets rich soil, steady rain, full sun. The other gets thin soil and long shade. The seeds are not different. What grows from them is almost unrecognizable. Neither garden is doing anything wrong. Each is simply producing what its specific conditions allow. A relationship is one of the most powerful soils a person ever stands in. Picture someone with one defining gift, a hunger for building things with his hands, for machines, motion, mechanics. In one version of his story, he meets someone, builds a family with her, and that mechanical genius becomes a hobby tucked into evenings in the garage, while a quieter, more devoted self takes the foreground for the next 40 years. In another version, that same man never marries her. He pours every part of that same energy into his workshop instead. He becomes a serious inventor. He never raises children. He never learns what it means to come home to the same person every night. Both men are completely real. Both are built from the exact same starting material, the same talents, the same raw capacity. Neither one is the false version. The difference between them was never talent or worth or some destiny written in advance. The difference was a single choice about partnership, made at one specific point, that decided which of those two men got to keep existing as him, and which one stayed in the territory of what could have happened instead. Take it a step closer to your own life now. You do not love someone simply because parts of you overlap with parts of them. Often you love someone because, in their presence, you catch a glimpse of a better version of yourself, the one you suspect you could be. In a partner's eyes, you sense your own potential, the same way they sense theirs and yours. That is not a coincidence, and it is not flattery. It is two people, each holding up a particular mirror, each activating a particular self in the other. And this cuts both directions, including the uncomfortable one. A partner who only ever sees your mistakes will activate the version of you built entirely around defending yourself. A partner who sees your potential will activate the version of you that keeps growing into it. Even people who already know you well, your own family, will admit a different version of you into their reality depending on what they themselves are looking for. Two siblings can describe the exact same parent and somehow be talking about two different people. Both are right. Each one received the version that their own presence called forward. This is also why loneliness is rarely about a shortage of people. More often, there is a quiet belief already at work, and that belief does not simply color how you feel about being alone. Think of it as a receiving station, one that is tuned to a very specific frequency and actively pulls in only the signals that match it, while everything else stays outside the range. The people who would meet you halfway are not absent. They are simply not on the frequency your station is currently broadcasting. And the smallest shift in what you believe you are worth in a room is enough to retune that station entirely, enough to let a different set of signals through. Something as simple as deciding to look up and actually smile at the person across the room, instead of waiting to be noticed first. What these other versions of you actually are, how many of them exist, and what happens to the ones that never get watered into reality, that is something we are going to come back to directly in a later video. Because it turns out those other versions are not hypothetical. They are real, and they are running parallel to this one right now. But before we get there, there is one more thing, and it changes how you look at everyone you are drawn to. You are not the only multifaceted field in the room. The person across from you is one as well. Within each identity, there are latent selves, real potential configurations of who that person is, quietly present, waiting for the right conditions to come forward. Most of them stay exactly that, latent. What draws them into actuality is contact with another consciousness whose own beliefs and expectations create the conditions for one specific version to emerge rather than another. This is why the same person can be genuinely different in different relationships. Not as a performance, not as adaptation, but because a different real version of them has been called into existence by the soil they are standing in, and the same is true of you. So when you are drawn to more than one person at once and each of them has something real to offer, that is not confusion. That is the mechanism being transparent about itself. Each of them is calling forward a different version of you. The question is not which one of them has the most attractive qualities. The question is which one of them is the better soil for the version of you that you actually want to become. Think about the last time you were drawn to more than one person, each pulling at your attention, each with something real about them. Instead of asking which one is the right one, ask something more honest, around which of them are you most yourself. Not the version of yourself you perform when you are trying to make a good impression, the version that shows up without effort, the one that is not trying. That is what this mechanism is already telling you, not who the better person is, but which soil makes you grow. If any part of this raised a question of its own, especially about who that other version of you actually is, leave it in the comments below. Those questions shape what gets explored here. You now understand that a partner is not a person standing next to your life. A partner is the environment your life grows inside. Which version of you emerges is not a matter of luck or chemistry. It is a direct result of which soil you choose to stand in. And this is exactly where the entire industry of dark psychology dating strategies gets it wrong. Negging, manufactured scarcity, strategic withdrawal, timed silence. Every one of those tactics is designed to manipulate which version of someone else gets activated, while masking which version of yourself you are actually offering. They work sometimes, in a narrow sense, but what they activate in the other person is not their best self. And what they require from you is not your best self either. The version of you that runs those plays is built on one silent belief, that who you actually are is not enough to be chosen. That belief, that who you are is not enough to be chosen, is the only thing those tactics ever actually sell. It does not stay inside the dating game. Next video, we pull it apart.